Hey everybody, I just want to let you know that I'm alive and well, and life's been kind of crazy the couple past weeks, months, years, but I've kind of had to keep my circle really small for the past couple weeks just because I'm going through a lot and it's hard and it's my cross to bear. It's the thing that God has put in my life to deal with, and I don't want to bring a lot of people into it. I'm so thankful to God for a strong family and the friends that God has put in my life to be there for me at this time. I just wanted to share that my heart and my prayer is that the church would stay strong, that y'all would stick together, because the church is God's people. It's not a man, it's not a person, it's not me, it's God's people, the bride of Christ. And there's a lot of really good people in the church that that I just hope would continue on, press toward the calling, run your race, stay encouraged, stay in your word, keep worshiping. Like I can't wait to worship again with everybody, but for now I'm just worshiping with me and Jesus to God, and I don't think God would be pleased with me if I just jumped right into missions and women's events and creative directing and worship leading and stuff. I think when your world is shook up, you need to take a pause. And I can only pray that more people will take a pause and I'm trying to get my priorities straight right now. And that's making sure that my heart doesn't have any unforgiveness, bitterness, resentment, just forgiveness and hope for the future and peace. Because you can't put a price on peace from God. So thank you for all your prayers and support. Know that I have to keep my circle really, really small right now. I'm used to having a really big circle, so it's hard because I want to reach out to everybody and tell you how much I love you and I miss you. But this is the best way that I know how. So I love you all. I miss you. Thank you for your love and support over the last couple years. And some of you, up to 18 years walking with me as my friends. And for right now, I've just had to put everything on pause to get myself right. And I think God's happy with that. So keep praying for me. Thank you. And I love you. I'll be praying for you. God bless you. Bye. So today my heart's a little heavy. I've had a lot of women
4 days later
that have reached out to me about situations of abuse. And I just want to tell you what a lot of people have told me lately and reminded me, because I think I forgot. I knew, but I pushed it in the back of my head just because of my situation. But you are the bride of Christ. Before anybody else's bride, male or female, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what gender you are. Abuse is abuse. And you are the bride of Christ.
We're going to be talking about abuse
and
today.
My Bible says that he took all the abuse you could think of for you so that you didn't have to live that life of slavery and bondage and pain. Jesus took it all for you. So you don't have to stay in a abusive relationship, whether that's sexual, whether that's somebody forcing you to take illegal drugs, or alcohol abuse, or physical abuse, psychological abuse, making you think that this is all your fault, or you're a bad mom, or you're a bad wife, or you're a bad husband, or you're not giving it your all when you know you are. God hates divorce, but why? According to everybody I've asked and the scriptures that I've found, it's because it hurts people. But does abuse hurt people? How do you think God feels about that? So, I want to remind you, like a bunch of people have been reminding me lately, that I'm God's bride first. And even an earthly spouse, who's a good spouse, when they know that their bride is being hurt, just imagine what an earthly spouse does. What do you think your heavenly spouse does when you're the bride of Christ and he sees his bride going through abuse and hurt? What do you think he thinks about that? So, encouragement in all this is you are the bride of Christ first before anybody else's. And he's got you. And he sees you. And he loves you.
Hey, I know that we've all seen that video before, those videos before. Thank you very much for sticking with me as we watch them again. It's actually been a while since I've seen those videos, knowing now more about the case, more of the stuff that has happened to Micah. It's even more haunting to me to watch those videos. So obviously, guys, today we are taking a look at the case of Micah Francis Miller, also known as Michael Francis, Micah Acacia. The reason that I've gathered us today on this Sunday is because there has been a little bit of news that happened in the form of a video by Micah's parents and her siblings that I would like to watch together, and then we can talk about it a little bit and maybe go over to the website that they've set up, and we're just going to take a close look at this together. I've put up the little thing. If you want to get my attention in the live chat, if there's something that you would like me to say or read, please put GF in that live chat, and I will do my best to go through the comments today. For example, Autumn thinks that that blue is my color. I'm glad. It is my favorite color. It's the color of my eyes. But yeah, that's what you do. Megan says, Gavin, it's very clear to me that Micah was hurting and aching for those closest to her to have these messages of my heart aches for her family. Yeah, she was hurting for sure. And she was talking about something that the rest of us really didn't know. Well, I mean, her family knew and certain members of her inner circle knew, but those of us, just generally speaking, who never knew her, we didn't understand the context. We just thought, hey, this is kind of weird. And so, watching those videos now with the context that we have now is all the more difficult. So let me bring you over to this video. I want to give you a kind of a heads up. I've messed with the sound a little bit in order to bring the background audio down because it has Micah singing, and I'm afraid, which is beautiful, but I'm afraid that the video might get demonetized, and I want more people to see this because I want more people to go to the website that they have set up. So it does sound a little different than what it sounded like originally. You can find it on Facebook if you want to watch the original video, but the original, what they're saying is unedited. I've just kind of separated their voices from the background. Okay. So with that introduction, let's go ahead and begin.
Hello, I'm Micah's father, Michael Francis.
My name is Angelita, and I'm Micah's mother.
Hello, my name is Destiny, and I am Micah's older sister.
Hey everybody, my name is Nate. I am Micah's brother. I'm her older brother and only brother.
Yo, I am Sierra Francis. I am Micah's sister.
Hi everybody, my name's Anna. I'm Micah's younger sister.
Hello, my name is Abby Francis. I am Micah Acacia's younger sister.
Micah's mission trip to Africa set off a fire in her soul, a light of God shining for all to see. She sought to help the people there by building mud and timber homes, and even helped to create a school for the children in the town where she was visiting.
Micah selflessly dedicated herself to her community to serve and never expected any recognition for her kindness and her sacrifices. We are seeking the support of the community to amplify awareness of her story. No matter the initial ruin of her untimely death, no matter, we are standing firm in her place and saying no more. But with the support of the community, nothing is impossible. Nothing is impossible. And we will continue to fight for Micah. Returning home from Kenya, Micah dedicated so much of her life to help raise awareness and funds for the community in Kenya. No matter her struggles financially or her turmoil that she was going through, she continued to put others first. The fight for justice for Micah is far from over and very much in the early stages.
Micah was in the middle of multiple legal proceedings that need to be carried on in her stead, not pushed under the rug. Your donations go directly towards funding that fight and the many lawyers that are involved on this case.
Our family is really passionate about letting everybody know that your donations are not only helping the civil side of this fight, but that it will also help in spreading awareness surrounding the proposed MICA's law. This will help the entire state of South Carolina. This law is not gender specific and is related to many areas of abuse.
Abuse is not always physical abuse, which South Carolina currently only acknowledges physical abuse. Abuse comes in many forms, such as mental abuse, spiritual abuse, coercive control, and much more. Micah's law will acknowledge all abuse. This will protect all people who are still fighting their fight for justice. Please go to www.justiceformicah.com.
Everything done on Micah's behalf has the potential for rebuttals and future depositions from the opposing party. This will be a long-time financial burden for the family that's necessary to support Micah even in her passing. The community has helped lift us up in moments that we could not have gotten through otherwise on our own. We thank you so much.
From the bottom of my heart, thank you. God bless. Thank you, and God bless.
Y'all's support for us has been more than we could have ever imagined or hoped for, and you have pushed us through on days where we didn't think we were going to make it. We are very, very grateful for everything y'all have done for us, and we cannot express that enough. Thank you.
Thank you for everything everybody's doing, and the support has been tremendous, and the donations have been amazing in helping us continue the fight. So thank you. Thank you very much for everything everybody's doing.
Thank you so much for your support. God bless.
Thank you to everyone who has supported us, whether it be financially, physically, by casting out fires, or even spiritually by praying for us. All of it is much needed and very much appreciated.
Okay, and then I lowered the sound completely. They show some photos of Micah here at the end we're going to go through. But the reason there's no sound is because for what I already explained. Yeah. So what the family is looking for is for help, financial help, to be able to keep their fight going in their search for justice for their sister Micah. Now, I thought that what we would do together real quick is I want to take a look at Micah's law, what they're proposing. We have not done that on this channel yet. We have gone through Micah's list, which I'm happy to do again. But what I want to look at today is Micah's law. So I'm going to just go over here. Yeah. All right. So let's just go through this bill. It's very short. It's 3 pages, but they're all like just these little things, right? So it's like several paragraphs. It's not long at all. So Micah's law, which is what her family is striving to get passed in the state of South Carolina, reads like this. It's a bill to amend Article 1, Chapter 25, Title 16 of the 1976 Code relating to general provisions concerning domestic violence by adding Section 16-20-130 to create the offense of coercive control over another person, to provide examples of the types of behavior and evidence that may be used to support the offense, to provide a penalty, and to define necessary terms. Be it enacted by the General Assembly of the State of South Carolina, Section 1, Article 1, Chapter 25, Title 16 of the 1976 Code is amended by adding Section 16, Chapter 25, Title 1, 16-25-130. A, for the purposes of this section, A1, coercive control means an act or pattern of acts of assault, threats, humiliation, manipulation, intimidation, or other abuse, including emotional abuse, that is used to harm, punish, or frighten another person by fraudulent representations. A2, controlling behavior means a range of acts designed to make a person subordinate or dependent by isolating the person from sources of support, exploiting the person's resources and capacities for personal gain, depriving the person of the means needed for independence, resistance, or escape, or regulating the person's everyday behavior. 3, personally connected means persons who are engaged in an intimate personal relationship or have previously been in an intimate personal relationship, or household members as defined in Section 16-25-10. These would be other family relationships, right? I didn't actually pull up the law to see what that definition is. Anyway, when two persons are personally connected, it is unlawful for one person to repeatedly or continuously engage in a course of behavior toward the other person that is coercive or controlling and that results in the person fearing on at least 2 occasions that violence will be used against them or that results in their mental distress such that their day-to-day activities suffer substantial adverse effects. A person who violates the provisions of this section is guilty of a felony and upon conviction must be fined not more than $10,000 or imprisoned not more than 10 years or both. So a pretty hefty penalty is what is being proposed here. And I think as an ungraded penalty, that is likely what the conviction is for an ungraded felony. I don't think that they're creating anything, what would I say, usurious or anything like that. It is probably what already is on the books. So $10,000, up to $10,000 and up to 10 years in prison, or both. Okay, the offense of coercive control of another person may include, but is not limited to, the following types of behavior: isolating a person from their friends and family, depriving a person of basic needs, monitoring a person's time, monitoring a person via online communication tools or using spyware, taking control over aspects of a person's everyday life, including where the person may go, who that person may see, what a person may wear, and when a person may sleep. Depriving a person access to support services, including medical services. Repeatedly insulting a person, including expressing the person's worthlessness. Enforcing rules and activities that humiliate, degrade, or dehumanize the person. Forcing a person to take part in criminal activity, including shoplifting and neglect or abuse of children, to encourage the person's self-blame and prevent disclosure to authorities. Financial abuse, including control of finances and only allowing a person a punitive allowance. Threats to hurt or kill, threats to a child, threats to reveal or publish private information or extort the person or a member of the person's family in retaliation by legal or other means. Assault. The R word right here, a very important word. Preventing a person from having access to transport or from working. Evidence of, now this is the part that, so all of these things are things that I deeply agree with, that we should definitely, all of these things are abuse and are coercive control and should be against the law. The question for a person like me is, okay, well, how do you enforce that? Like what is the evidence that you would expect to see to prove coercive control? And one of the things that I was thinking is, like, a lot of times a person who is being controlled, the person who is being abused, may not be in a place where that person can share or wants to share with authorities what is happening. However, they may be more likely to share with their loved ones what's happening, right? And their loved ones might be able to make a legal move, right? Might be able to contact authorities. So let's look at the evidence that they say. Okay, evidence of coercive control of another person may include, but is not limited to, the following: copies of emails, phone records, or text messages, evidence of abuse over the internet, digital technology, or social media platforms, evidence of assault, photographs of injuries, particularly defensive injuries to forearms, latent upper arm grabs, scalp bruising, or clumps of hair missing, 911 tapes or transcripts, body-worn camera footage, lifestyle and household evidence, including at-scene photographic evidence. So that's just like coming into a place where they're seeing, oh, something has happened here, take photos of it. That would be evidence. Records of interaction with support services or law enforcement, including records of interaction prior to the current incident or investigation. Medical records, witness testimony, including testimony from the family and friends regarding the effect and impact of isolation of the person from friends and family or other local witnesses with relevant observations of the person. Bank records to show financial control. Previous threats made to children or other family members. Diary kept by the person. The person's account of the situation to law enforcement, or evidence of isolation, such as lack of contact between family and friends, person withdrawing from activities such as clubs and other life events, including weddings and funerals, and the person exerting control accompanying the person to medical appointments. Wow, that is a big one. Somebody gets injured because of an abusive relationship. Their abuser will often accompany them to the hospital to make sure that they tell the right story, right? Okay, C. The provisions of this section do not apply to actions taken pursuant to a legal arrangement granting one person power or authority over another person, including but not limited to power of attorney arrangements, legal guardians of the property or person as provided by law, parental control of a minor child. Yeah, these are good exceptions. Or cases in which the person asserting control over another person believed the actions were in the best interest of the person and the actions were objectively reasonable under the circumstances. That part of the sentence is the hardest part. Like this part right here is my hardest. The biggest problem I have with this law is this. I mean, most of the law I have no problem with, but how do you know that a person asserting control over somebody else was working in the best interest of that person? Well, what they're doing is they're putting in the reasonable person argument, right? This is basically like, would a reasonable person, in the case of like reasonable doubt, would a reasonable person pause and go, that seems kind of odd, right? So this is objectively reasonable. Under no circumstances is it a reasonable defense if the actions caused another person to fear that violence would be used against them. And then the act takes effect upon approval of the governor. And that's like the entire bill. That is the entire thing. It's not all that complicated. Let's real quick go through a couple of comments. Rachel Ray says, Gavin, I'm so glad to see you're covering this case because you are nothing less than well, thank you. Thank you. I deeply appreciate that. Thank you, Rachel Ray. This case is important to me. I know that you guys know that I've waffled in my belief one way or the other whether Micah did this to herself or not, but where I've never waffled is that I believe that the person responsible is this person right there. I think that he is responsible for what happened to Micah Miller, whether she is the person who pulled the trigger or not. Thank you for that comment, Rachel Ray. Jane Zaliz Diaz. I'm so sorry that I have a hard time remembering how to pronounce your name. Anyway, Jane, I'm going to do that. That's going to help me. Gavin, I might sound dumb. How come in 2024 we still some have countries don't have this type of law? Yeah, actually in the United States, I think there's only a handful of other states that have this kind of law. I think there are maybe 3 others. What is it? Connecticut, California, and New York, I think. I think South Carolina would be the 4th, maybe the 5th. I think maybe because legislative bodies are, and rightfully so, in my opinion, are concerned about any law that may be overly ambiguous. And many of you might be rolling your eyes or giggling at that one because so many laws are ambiguous. But this is one where we could be charging somebody with a felony, and does it leave too much in the eye of the beholder, I guess. I think that might be the reason why. I also wonder if maybe there are states where they have not been able to see the results of coercive control in a relationship. If there's any silver lining to Micah's case, it's that I think that she will probably save thousands of other women and men in the future. Like it, and I'm sorry that it's Micah that is on the receiving end of this. I don't want to be flippant or indelicate or unfeeling about this. I'm very sorry that these are the kinds of things that have to happen in order for us to kind of wake up as a citizenry. But if there is a silver lining, I think that if this law passes in South Carolina, it will save thousands of women, mostly women, but it'll save some men too. And I hope that it does. Mooney asked Gavin, does this include Micah's list? Now, a lot of stuff, this does include a lot on Micah's list. And that is in this same document. By the way, guys, before I go back to it, here's Micah's list for you guys to see. The first part of Micah's list, Mooney, is all the stuff that is already drafted in that law, right? Isolating from family and friends, depriving of basic needs, stalking, tracking whereabouts, monitoring communications, taking control over aspects of life, depriving her of support services, expressing her worthlessness, humiliating, degrading, or dehumanizing her, preventing disclosure to authorities, financial abuse, threats to hurt her, her family, or himself, threats to a child, threats to reveal or publish private information, assault, the R word again. This one kills me. If this allegation is true, it says, while she was hospitalized, JP demanded that she have sex with him while she lay in the hospital bed. He forced her to perform sexual acts against her will and demanded that she watch him in sexual acts with others and forced her to sit still so others could touch her body against her will. JP told her and preached on Sunday that if she did not submit to his every request for sex in any manner he desired, then it was her fault if he got his needs fulfilled by another woman or man. That one kills me. Preventing her from having transportation and interfering with her work. So those are the things that are already in the law. Now on Micah's list, what they want to add is emotional abuse ignoring requests and commands to leave her alone, cruelty to her dog, so cruelty to the victim's pets, destruction of property, destruction of supporting evidence, misuse of legal documents, misuse of law enforcement, misuse of the legal process, adultery, promiscuity, stealing identity, cyber technology abuse, medical abuse, spiritual abuse, church abuse, phone calls to everyone, and physical abuse without marks. Those are the things on Mike's list, Mooney, that they would like added to the law. Great comment, great question. Let's see. Thank you very much. I do like this sport coat. I am not a fan of ties. I hate ties. It's not that I'm not a fan. It's that I hate them with deep and lasting conviction. But I do like wearing a jacket from time to time. Megan says, Gavin, it's definitely easier to create laws and bylaws regarding coercive control when on state level. Federal would take years. Yeah, and if you are of a, I stay apolitical on the channel as much as I possibly can, but I'm of a political bent where I think most laws should happen on the state level. And if it happens in South Carolina, hopefully they'll be able to move it throughout the South and maybe to the rest of the nation. Let's see. We need more single men in the community like Gavin. Well, Gavin is not a single man. Gavin is a long married old man. But I think, Steph, that there are good men and women everywhere. I grew up pretty insulated. I mean, I grew up in the world, of course, but like I grew up, I don't want to use the word sheltered because that has kind of a negative connotation, but my parents cared for me deeply. And my brothers and sisters, they took care of us and they kept us away from harm. But part of that was we were in our own little tiny community, right, of a couple hundred people. It wasn't until, I started traveling and meeting new people. And then my dad became the president of the Interfaith Council in the greater Sacramento, California area. And as we were supporting his volunteerism with that, he actually ended up getting a federal recognition by the Federal Bureau of Investigation. That was one of my greatest memories, is being inside the J. Edgar Hoover building while my dad was being recognized for the hard work that he had done on behalf of others. But anyway, it wasn't until my dad's volunteerism that we started attending other churches and synagogues and mosques and other faith gatherings, and getting to know and getting to love people of so many other faiths. And it was just happened to be that it was all faith-based, right? But basically it got us out of that bubble of the people that we normally associated with. And the thing that I learned is that the world is full of terrific people. It really is. And don't get me wrong, I know that crappy things happen. I mean, I see it every day. I report on it every day. I show it here on YouTube every day. But this world is so full of very, very high quality, good people, of different faiths, of people who have no faith, of different backgrounds, of different nationalities. Like, just, there's so many really, really good people out there. I hope that you and all of us recognize that. TMI Steph says, I know that, Gavin. I've seen your beautiful wife. We just need single men like you are. That's funny. They're out there. I've got a son. Just saying. All right, guys. Tiff Knox says, I turned out pretty well. Well, thank you. I do my best, for sure. There are a lot of people who disagree, but I won the family lottery the day that I was born. My parents are the best, and so are my brothers and sisters. I'm really grateful for it, and my wife's family is really terrific too. Okay, let's go. So one of the things that they brought up in the video is a new website. Let's bring you over to the website. They have published this website. It is justiceformicah.com. And basically, it looks to me like they're using this site as a way to not only have an online remembrance of Micah, that her memory is in, like, never leaves us, but also a way for them to raise money to continue their legal fight. So there are just a couple things that I wanted to show. Number one, there are a lot of different ways that we can donate. We can send checks to this P.O. box. We can donate on GoFundMe. I actually think that their GoFundMe has done pretty well. So they've raised $51,000. Guys, that is a drop in the bucket of what they're going to need. I'm in touch with Ellen Greenberg's folks, right? They have spent well in excess of $500,000 on fighting for justice for their daughter. And Micah's family is going to be doing the same thing. I mean, they're going to need all the help they can get. So just because they've raised $51,000, don't think that they're okay. That's like a couple months worth of billing for attorneys. Okay. So there's GoFundMe, there's Venmo, there's Give, Send, Go, there's Cash App. And then they ask if there's any tips or information. You can send a message to their tip line there. So I wanted to bring that up. Number two, they have Micah's Law on the website so that you can go and read what we just read, basically, right? And then they also have Micah's List that you can read. There's Micah's List. So if you ever want to read Micah's List, it's there. It's also on my website. If you go to gavinfish.com, all the case documents that I've been able to get my hands on are all there, and including this press conference docs, which has Micah's List in it. Okay, audio recordings that I've gathered as well. And then one of the fun things that I really enjoyed reading was this memory wall. I'm not going to read them all. Was it the memory wall? Yeah. Listen to this, guys. These are memories of Micah that people have sent in. Let me just read a couple. Savannah Griffin, right in the middle here. Such a beautiful and caring soul, gone way too soon. Micah became a close friend soon after I moved to South Carolina last year. I will forever be grateful for the friendship we shared, sweet girl. You are one of the most God-loving, genuine, sweetest, caring people I've ever had the opportunity to know. Rest easy, Micah. I'll see you in every sunset I see. Your memory will forever live on. That is a beautiful, beautiful and touching little memory. Teresa says, I would say Micah was a fixer. If there was a need and there was something she could do about it, she did. I always thought of myself as a fixer, but Micah truly put her words into action. And now, it needs fixing. What needs fixing is the injustice of Micah's death. So hopefully we can all step up and make a donation there. Let me read just a couple more here. Micah was encouraging and loving. Nathan Brewer. I've had the pleasure of collaborating with Micah on several projects doing videography, and she consistently brought forth inspiration and talented ideas. She was truly an amazing person, taken from us far too soon. And I think taken is the correct word for that. Her light will be greatly missed, and Micah will always hold a special place in my heart. The Priest family in the UK. We were blessed as a family to have you all in our lives in the UK for a few years, and we loved you all very much. We remember Micah as a beautiful, dark-haired child, always smiling, and such a happy and caring child of love, full of love. Yeah, beautiful smile. My goodness. Such a beautiful, beautiful smile. Yeah. So guys, I want to encourage you to go to this website. If you have not donated yet in any way to Micah's family's quest for justice, specifically for Micah's law to be passed, and also for them to be able to continue their legal battles against, they say, the other party. We know who the other party is, right? We know who the other party is. It's this guy right here. That's the other party. They're going to be in a legal battle with him for a long time. So if you have not already, I encourage you to go to justiceformicah.com and help this family as they seek justice. All right. Let's see if there's anything else that I want to, I'm just going to go through a couple of your comments here. Let's see. Jackie B says, I like they have her maiden name on there and not JP's. Yeah. And I've tried really hard to update all of my stuff so that it says Micah Francis Miller on the things. I keep Miller on it just because I think that's how the world knows the case, and I want people to be able to find the information. But yeah, she wasn't going to be Micah Miller much longer. They were divorcing. She was changing her name. Well, I assume she was changing her name. So yeah. Oh, let's look at a couple of there's a gallery on here too that's really, really nice. Some pictures of Micah that we hadn't seen before that I thought were fun. I like this one. I like the gecko. I think that's cute. But yes, a beautiful soul. By all accounts, someone who she will never get justice, but her family can fight for it and get close, because there's no restitution on this one, right? She's lost her life. Guys, thank you very much for spending some time with me today. I appreciate it. Normally don't do these on Sundays, but always glad to spend time with you. You can always reach out to me on my website, gavinfish.com. Also remember that if you are on Facebook, we have the fish tank. Please join us on the fish tank. We're like, 1,900 members, something like that. And it's a growing little community where we like to talk with one another and share all sorts of different things. So yeah, come and join us. It's a fun time. With that, I think that's the end. I'll bid you adieu. Thank you very much for being here, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you liked what you saw, please consider subscribing. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below.